Good afternoon. Going over a couple of things regarding the game and just in general, our mindset and plans for the weekend and kind of state of the union as we get into our first preseason game action. Um, we've acquired a couple of veteran players. We've suffered some attrition in this process, like most people. Um, Logan Woodside, we acquired at quarterback. He's no stranger to the NFL. He's had a past relationship with Arthur Smith. Given the circumstances with Will Howard, we thought that was appropriate. He'll be a quick study. We'll work hard over the next 48 hours, and he'll certainly will have game availability. Whether or not he plays remains to be seen, but that was the intention. We acquired Pete in the offensive line. He is a versatile veteran. Has played both guard and tackle. We've absorbed some attrition in those spaces, and so, a Grizzly veteran with multi-positional experience is an asset. And so we've got those two guys. You'll see those guys on the practice field today. They were at walkthrough this morning, and glad to have them aboard. Now regarding the game, as always in the preseason, participation or no is a component of the equation, and I've identified some guys that won't be playing in this game this week, and it has nothing to do with injury. They need less runway to take off, to be quite honest with you, because of their experience and where they are in their careers. Oftentimes, I preserve them through this process while providing more opportunity for those that need more preparation or more opportunity to display their talents and so forth. And so here's a list of some guys that won't be playing in this game. Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Jonnu, and Muth. Isaac won't be playing in the offensive line. Jalen Warren won't play at running back. The top three corners, Ramsey, Porter, and Slay won't play. D. Elliott will not play. Patrick Queen will not play. Cam and TJ will not play. Herbick will not play. Boz will not play. There's some other guys who are tentatively scheduled not to play because of short-term related injury and so forth. Their practice participation has been limited, and so the likelihood of their participation is minimal. An example of those guys are Calvin Austin, Highsmith, Dante Kent, and Trice. There's no plan yet in place in terms of the amount of play time for those that will be playing. Our mindset is if you're in uniform, you're prepared to play throughout the course of the game. It's up to the coordinators whether or not some of those people will be used throughout the game. But there's a mindset there that we're interested in, that if you're in the uniform, you're ready to play. The things that we value going into this first preseason game is less about the people that we play. Obviously, they have no 2025 tape. They're a new staff in a lot of ways, and so the focus for us is what we do. Part of being a good team is not beating your own butt, and so we're focusing on some things relative to that. We're looking for guys to make routine plays routinely. We're looking for pre-snap cleanliness on both sides of the ball. From a penalty perspective, I expect the offense to manage the play clock, to manage shifts and motions in a clean manner. I expect the defense to be ready if there changes of pace in terms of how the opposing offenses operate, and I expect the guys to ball key, meaning to not be in the neutral zone and provide free yards and free plays or free possession downs, et cetera. And that leads me into situational football. I expect situational knowledge and behavior to be on display. We've worked a lot in various forms of 2-minute, particularly this week. We've infused possession down ball in a big way over the last week and a half in terms of our team development, and so I'm really excited about seeing situational knowledge and appropriate situational behavior based on circumstance. And so, we've worked hard to simulate some of those things, but there's no substitute for in-stadium or in-game action as you transition from unit to unit and coordinate some of those exchanges, matching personnel and so forth. And so just coach and player engagement, how we communicate formally and informally on the sideline in an effort to get the appropriate people on the field and ready to play will be something that has our attention in this game. Special teams performance and awareness is a major component of this game. When you look at the process of going from 90 to 53, a lot of those decisions are made in that phase of the game. Um, Offensive players who can tackle, defensive players who can block in space, the unique challenges and skills that are put on display in teams are things that really has my attention, particularly on those guys that are new to us and new to the National Football League that are getting an opportunity to play. Oftentimes you get a young guy and he thinks his performance is going to be judged by his day job, and some of these supplementary things and things that they do outside of their home position oftentimes is as critical or more critical than their day jobs. And so those are some of the things that are being discussed, plans that are being formulated, and mindset regarding this game. And I'll pause and open up for questions.
Mike, how do you juggle when you have veteran players, proven players like Aaron and DK and Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slade, and a couple of those older guys, wanting to get them because they're new to maybe kind of mesh together, but also protect them for the regular season?
You know, I just make judgments based on what I'm looking at. I just feel comfortable with what I've seen from those guys through this portion of the process that makes me comfortable in saying that they won't play this week. Next week may be different. We really respect the days that are this process, and I try not to make plans with broad strokes, but really kind of in more smaller increments. And so the decision not to play some of those guys that I mentioned really was based on what I've seen from them in this environment to this point.
Would you expect Aaron to play in one of the preseason games?
You know, I'm not looking ahead, to be quite honest with you. I'm just extremely comfortable with my decision not to play him this week.
Mike, he told us yesterday Arthur is letting him speak to the group in meetings, go over film with the players. Is that a fairly common thing or uncommon thing? And have you experienced a quarterback that does that?
Very common.
Mike, who was the second player you mentioned you acquired? We haven't been given that.
Pete, yes.
Is that Andrew Pete?
Yes, yes.
Mike, I know Derek missed practice yesterday. Do you think he's going to play on Saturday?
Who's that?
Derek Harmon.
Yeah, he's scheduled to play.
How much playing time, or do you know, with the offensive line that you get in the first team?
We'll play it by ear, and that's what I meant. We've made no plans about the amount of play time for those suited at this juncture. We might view some of those instances on an individual basis. We might view some of those decisions on somewhat of a collective basis because of the cooperative work component of development. We'll have a better understanding of that or our intentions in that area as we get closer to the game. To be quite honest with you, this time of year, 48 hours out is a long time. And then we won't be opposed to being light on our feet and make decisions based on what we see in game along those lines.
Throughout the spring and summer, the offensive line is that collective, with or without Siamalu involved. How have you seen their development?
I'm sorry?
The offensive line, with or without, how have you seen, like, through training camp and in the spring?
I think with each passing day, man, I'm seeing signs of growth and development, but that's to be expected. I like their general approach. I like their level of conditioning. I like their commitment to continued conditioning. I love the way that they're communicating. It's a work in progress, but so far so good.
Specifically with the offense, with Aaron and DK and some of his other receivers, what have you seen that makes you comfortable that you don't need to see them in a game environment this weekend?
Progress to this point. You guys have been at practice the way I've been at practice. It's on the upswing, certainly, in terms of precision and execution and cohesion that's required to be successful.
Mike, is it too much to ask for Logan to get in there on Saturday?
Again, he just got here. I know that he has a past experience with Arthur, and so I'm not going to close the door on it, but we'll see.
Like some of the stuff you guys are repping on defense, press man, blitzing, are these things you're exploring or preparing?
I would neither confirm nor deny some of the questions that you asked there regarding strategy. No, we want to be a versatile group. We got versatile and capable players. You're not going to be good in the National Football League, let alone great, unless you have some diversity in your call sheet, and that's in any of the three phases. And so certainly it's a time of the year for us to explore different postures from a defensive perspective, and whether or not we choose to utilize them as we get into the regular season has a lot to do with how we perform in them.
How they doing so far?
It's pretty good. It's pretty versatile.
Mike, do you expect, is Will Howard's injury kind of short term?
Yeah, I think I would characterize it as week to week at this juncture. I'll be optimistic, and we'll see what next week holds.
Do you think it's possible he could play in the preseason?
Certainly.
Mike, how have you seen Caleb Johnson handle the things outside of just running the ball, the other responsibilities for running back?
I love his general demeanor regarding to get better. He's a work in progress, like a lot of young runners, in terms of blitz pickup. Not only recognition on the NFL level, but technically. The posture that's required and how to create power and so forth. But he's been really impressive in that he's a young man that doesn't run away from things. He runs two things, and so he's getting better in all areas.
Anyone else? Like, this is, I don't know if I'm asking this from a coaching point of view in terms of strategy or what you want to see from him, or just a guy that likes football. And I know you scouted Hunter like everybody else going into the draft. Drafted win for you guys at your position. But are you intrigued to see, because they announced he will play offense and defense on both sides of the ball, are you intrigued to see how that might work?
To be honest with you, I hadn't thought a lot about it. In this first preseason game, it's so much in terms of us and the things that we need to do. I hadn't really kind of pondered that component of it. Just from an appreciator of athleticism standpoint, I certainly will pay attention in stadium, but it's not a component of our planning or strategy or game planning. It's just not. It's too early in the process for us to worry about the Joneses, whoever the Joneses may be.
Mike, this is going to be Roman's first extended in-stadium action. What are you kind of looking to see from him with the first team?
I just expect to see similar things that I've seen out here. Continual get better in playmaking. He's highly conditioned. I expect that to show in his play. We're really focused on kind of his offensive contributions this week. Next week we're going to, infuse some more in special teams than we tentatively have planned this week, because we just think it's appropriate. He's a young guy. Sometimes you're thoughtful about what you ask them to master in this process in an effort to see the best of them in certain components of play. And so specifically for Roman, it's about offense this week. Next week we'll infuse some teams and continue on with his growth and development process.
You're going to have a lot of young, or at least inexperienced guys to the team on defense on Saturday. You're curious to see how Peyton Wilson takes the lead of that group, because it looks like he's taking that second-year jump as you mentioned.
Very much so, but we don't wait to in-stadium action to explore that. Every day that we give Patrick Queen off, he instantly becomes the quarterback of the defense. The coach to player goes through him. For example, you have to develop leadership in leaders, and where he is in his career is appropriate. And so that's what I mean when I say we have different agendas when we give guys off days. It's not only about the preservation of those guys, it's about the elevation of others, whether it's in the number of snaps that they get or whether it's their roles. And in his case, it's quarterback in the defense and being a hub of communication and some of the leadership things that really, quite honestly, he displays in a very natural way. But because of how we divide the labor up, PQ being a much older guy, he's more of a support role when PQ works. And so Patrick won't be working today, for example. It'll be a big day. It'll be a big day for Peyton, the quarterback, the defense, and all the communication will flow through him. And so certainly I'm looking for those things in stadium, but we won't wait to the stadium, or we haven't been waiting to get to the stadium to develop some of those things, for example.
Aaron said yesterday that he finds that joint practices in the preseason can be more valuable than a preseason game. How do you kind of balance the two, and what has the most value in your eyes?
I don't necessarily compare it in terms of what has more value than the other. They all are valuable, and so we participate in joint practices because it's a different environment. It's different schematics. We're working against Tampa Bay, and they're a 4-down defense, and we're a 3-4 defense. And so, there's some good things for all parties involved there. And so, I don't waste time wondering what's more valuable. They're both are valuable. We're participants in both.
Mike, will you use both punters, and what have you thought about the competition?
We intend on using both punters, and we'll trade punt for punt, and we're probably going to be in that posture until we get clarity or throughout the preseason. It's highly competitive. They're both varsity, but that's the type of competition that you want. You want guys to win jobs because of what they do, not because of what others don't do. And so far, we've been really impressed by both guys. And out here, the things that we've seen in team development. We'll continue to watch them as we get into stadiums.